What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this. Once again, guys, Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all. Today's topic. Listen, I was kind of tuning in, starting about last Thursday all the way up through the weekend. I was just kind of watching some of the local sports channels, taking a listen to see what people thought about things. Reports start coming out over the weekend about the Eagles having this ridiculously good rookie, undrafted rookie free agent class. And one player's name got mentioned twice in these reports. And this happened earlier in the week. This happened around, I want to say like Wednesday, I kind of started hearing the rumblings about this player. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. When I hear these type of things, I tend to kind of be a little dismissive. I'm a bit of a naysayer at times when it comes to stuff like this. You got to show me, right? If you're an undrafted rookie free agent, that means 32 executives in the NFL decided you are not worth a draft pick. Sometimes people get stuff wrong because you always get a Quentin Michael that comes out of the undrafted rookie free agent pool. Like, we've had success with the undrafted rookie free agent pool, no doubt about it. But I always go in there with a little bit of skepticism. And it's also incredibly hard sometimes when you're trying to find film on these guys. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, guys, but it becomes really difficult to find film on some of these guys. So, when I started hearing this player's name, I was like, okay, let me just take a look at it. Let me see what's going on. Let me see if it's worth it. And I got to tell you, there are two guys that I'm high on from this undrafted rookie free agent pool. There are two guys that I think have a legitimate shot at being something down the road for the Philadelphia Eagles. One of those guys we're going to talk about today, guys, it's wide receiver Manasseh Bailey. Man, I turned him on, and I got to be honest with you, Morgan State was not good. They just weren't a very good football team last year. But the one thing that stood out about Morgan State on every game I had an opportunity to watch, which to be honest with you was only 2 games, I was able to go back and watch the full NCAA game, and I was able to see a pretty good portion of the Army game. This kid stood out, man. He was the one bright spot that I saw from Morgan State. And I got to tell you, there's a lot to like about this kid. All right, y'all. Without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's run some film. Let's talk about Manasseh Bailey, wide receiver, Morgan State. All right, y'all. Let's get to it.
He's been playing more. Jalen McClinton is out again this week. Deep shot. They take it. It's caught. There is Bailey.
All right, guys. So, running the film on this young man. This is what I personally saw from the young man. Is if we talk about positional alignment, he played outside primarily. Now, mind you, I didn't get a chance to really go through 5-6 games to get a better feel for how often they may have bounced him inside. But in the 2 games I was able to watch, he just did not play a lot on the inside. So it appears to me as if he's more of a outside receiver. Now, he played a lot between playing the, boundary side, X-aligned split end receiver, to being able to go on that field side and play more of that flanker Z receiver role. He played both. There was one tendency I did notice about the kid, is when you went back and you watched this film, one of the things that I saw happen quite often was when he got down in the red zone, they put him in that X alignment quite a bit, guys. He went towards that split side. If this kid gains a step on you with no safety help, it's a problem. Now, when you look at the kid's measurables, he comes up 6'1" and some change, okay? About just short of 200 pounds, all right? He's strong. This is a converted linebacker. He originally came in as a linebacker, was converted to receiver, and I got to tell you guys, the strength shows up. This is a kid that I don't think his route running, and I don't think his the tree he runs is nearly as good as players like Quez Watkins or John Hightower. I'm not trying to put him in that category, guys, but what I'm telling you is, in terms of the strength, the NFL readiness, in terms of your strength already, that he probably has the leg up on.
31-yard line. We said in the open, if you want this offense to get going, get the ball to 13.
He seems a little more NFL ready through the body, if that makes sense, guys. If you look at his attributes, the one thing that's going to stand out to you guys, this kid has speed. When I first heard this kid was a converted linebacker, I was not expecting to see this kid streaking and breaking away from players downfield. And that's exactly what he did. That is easily 3 to 4 yards of real separation against those corners. This kid has a ton of speed, guys. It shocked me. I don't know why he was recruited originally as a linebacker, because I guess maybe if you're looking as an outside linebacker or rush line, I don't know. He seems a little undersized for that to begin with anyways, but this kid's fast, guys. Go watch the film on this kid. He's flying, he's separating, he's getting great separation from the corners. That is the one thing I did notice about him, and I got to tell you, man, you got to give props to the scouting department on this one. Howie and the scouting department clearly went out there with a message. They had a clear objective, I should say, of what they wanted. And what they wanted was to add speed to that wide receiver position. And they did that through getting Jalen Reagor. They did that for trading through, to go get Marquise Goodwin. They did that by drafting John Hightower. They did that by drafting Quez Watkins. And they did that by going out there and finding this undrafted rookie free agent in Manasseh Bailey. Because I got to tell you, man, this was one heck of a job from the scouting department here and from Howie Roseman. I wish I saw more of this contested catchability. Another great thing about a player like Manasseh Bailey, he fits the mold of everyone else the Eagles have been bringing into this roster construction. He's versatile, guys. He has that alignment versatility. And although, like I said, I didn't see him play a whole lot in the slot in those 2 games I got to watch, he did play there. I did catch it a couple times on film. And on one time on the film, he got open. He beat his man. It was a beautiful setup inside the, just outside the red zone, to where they were using that leverage to get him kind of on, basically, which would be like a deep kind of like a skinny post or a deeper like slant route. And he beat his man. Touchdown.
There's coming coverage. They drop back. Harris has all day. Fires a dart into the end zone.
Against a very, very good pass defense. So, I mean, there definitely some merit here. I see what they're trying to do. This kid goes beyond just playing the X, Y, and the Z. Look, the kid has such positional versatility that he's another one of these receivers that we could take and do things like, like an end around, things like that with this young man.
147 yards of total offense. Morgan State 108. Bailey on the reverse has running room.
Also, he gives you a guy that he can be a nightmare to match up with, because even at Morgan State, because he was pretty much the guy you had to be aware of in your game plan, they did a good job of hiding him. And I saw him do things like come out of an F-back role. An F-back being like an H-back role, where they had him as a wing in the backfield, and he snuck out and burnt teams. I love what I saw from like this positional versatility element to this young kid.
In this series, they've won 8 of the last 11 since 2006. Harris goes to the end zone. Bailey's wide open.
I mean, look, I'm not saying the kid will make the roster, just because I think the competition is just way too great there. But I got to tell you right now, if you're anyone on this Eagles roster, the one piece of advice I can give you is, boy, you better try to stay healthy. Don't give any one of these young kids an opportunity to take your spot, because the minute you do, I think we got guys on this team who can legitimately fill in and take over for guys. So, like I said, health given for every player. Do I think he makes it? No, I think this is a guy that you're trying to sneak onto the practice squad. If someone goes down in camp, do I think this kid is talented enough to take a roster spot potentially? Yeah, man. I mean, there's something there to develop and work with this kid on. Like, I can definitely see that. The key to making any roster as a back-of-the-end guy, special teams play. All right, special teams production. Because let's be honest, if you're going to make the back of the roster as a wide receiver, you've got to be able to bring something to special teams play. This is what I'll say about the young man. I don't have the greatest feel for him because I have a limited sample size to look at. But in the games I watched, from what I can tell, he did not return any kicks, nor did he return any punts. I have absolutely no clue if this young man was playing gunner or not on punt returns, kick. I don't know, guys. Like, we'd have to go look at that, like on punt coverage and stuff like that to get an idea. That I don't know. I don't know what he offers in that particular regard. I do know when I watched the kickoff for the A&T game, even though he was not the kick returner, he was in on that special teams play, so he was there as a blocker. Don't know about punt return, or punt coverage, I should say, not return. But I will say this. When it came to him, even though he's not the punt returner, he definitely got involved when it came to blocking the punts. He definitely played pretty well shooting that edge. And that was something pretty exciting to see on film because that really stood out. Now, I don't put a lot of merit in highlights just because highlights don't give you the context of what's going on. but you kind of know what a punt, when you punt block, you know what that is. So I did see that twice on that highlight reel, and I was like, oh, okay, so there is some special team ability here. This kid's speed is clearly translating all across the field. Nice way to get in there and block that. This is a kid we'd have to see in camp what kind of production he would give you from the special teams play. But I thought it was encouraging that he got in there and got involved on those punt blocks, trying to turn things around, trying to get his team points. Like, that was encouraging to see on film. Now, the overall perspective of what I think about this young man. I definitely think this is a work in progress, guys. I thought he was definitely separating. Their speed, I have no clue what this kid runs, guys. It's just hard to tell. I can tell you this. He looks like, to me, he's running at least a high 4.3. At worst, he's running maybe a low 4.4, like a 4.42 or a 4.4 flat. I think he's faster than that, just judging from the separation he's gaining from corners. He's gaining a good 4 or 5 yard separation quite often on cornerbacks. It's generally a pretty good indication of a guy that runs a very fast 40 time. I don't know what it is, guys. All I can do is speculate just like you, but I can tell you 40s don't matter as much to me as the separation you're gaining. The one concern I have is I didn't see a lot of nuance to the route running. It wasn't like he was necessarily gaining that separation through his route running. However, he gained separation. That's the important part here. I definitely think it's going to be a little bit of a work in progress with this young man. They're going to have to work on him and teach him at the NFL level how to separate not with just your speed, but with your actual route running. I thought he exhibited strong hands. There was a couple times on films I thought he had concentration drop.
Cornerback, top of your screen, playing off coverage, comes up, form tackle.
But I thought he had strong hands. I like the kid's talent. But these are my thoughts, and you know what I'm going to ask you. I want to know, what do you think? All right, guys, leave your comments below. Tell me what you think about this young man. I think there's some excitement here. I think there's potential for development here. Like I said, he's going to need an injury or something to happen to really gain, serious consideration. But with that said, I definitely get what they saw in the kid. There's something there to be developed. There's no doubt about it. I wouldn't be shocked if this kid doesn't ball out in camp. All right, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. You know how we end these videos. We go E-A-G-L-E-S. All right, y'all. Let's go Eagles.